Good afternoon, everyone. Big news out of Bitcoin today is that it just reached a $1 trillion market cap, and this is already old news because 4 hours ago it hit $54,000 per Bitcoin, causing the Bitcoin market cap to reach $1 trillion for the first time ever. It is now at $56,036 after reaching a high of $56,317. On certain exchanges that may vary, but big news. It just hit 54,000 and kept going. So we wanted to look at where's it going to go from there? What am I going to look at this weekend? What am I going to look at with Ethereum and Litecoin, and what are we doing with that? And we want to look into a few altcoins. Some are performing extremely well, some are not performing at all and doing pretty poorly. Fortunately, the ones that I don't have a lot of money in are doing poorly, and the ones that I have, I guess, more money in are doing really well. So one thing I wanted to do, first off, wanted to bring up the Bitcoin dominance chart. So this is something that I follow daily, and if you've listened into past videos, you know that what I was looking for is for this to kind of make a shorter term head and shoulders pattern and then come down, and we have a crazy altcoin season, and it's looking like it could maybe not be doing that. We talked about it just potentially forming, like a bear flag from here and coming down. But I do expect it to repeat itself and at least come down to the 52 range. And with the hype and interest in altcoins, I fully expect it to come down to the 37, 36 range. But I definitely expect it to come down to the 52 range. At least that's where my game plan's based upon. Not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's what you should base it on, but that's what I'm looking at. And lately, it just hasn't really left this 62% range, right? And as Bitcoin runs and it goes up, it's really not going to come down. And Bitcoin down, even if altcoins come up, if Bitcoin's market cap keeps going up, right, this Bitcoin dominance chart isn't going to really change. And in fact, it probably will show a sign of coming up to the 67, 66, 65 range and put in that short-term head and shoulders. So I'm still looking for that. Hasn't really changed yet, just because it's just kind of been hanging out. Everything's been kind of going up. And we want to keep an eye on altcoins, right? And to do that, what scares me a little bit is we have the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. And if you remember looking at this chart, we went and we looked at the RSI of the daily and the weekly chart. And the RSI on the daily right now sits at 84, which makes you tell that it's a little overbought, quite overbought, but still has room to run. But if you look at the weekly, that's for RSI. If you look at the weekly, it's quite high, right? I pay more attention to the daily, but we're at 96.05. And I've seen things go 98 range, and the higher that goes, the harder it's going to come down. It's just how it always seems to work. So we're watching that with the altcoins. So in the overall market, all right, it looks like we're in a parabolic move, and who knows how high that can go. So I asked myself, because it's really hard to pinpoint a top and pinpoint a bottom for that matter. So I was asking myself, well, what would make sense? Well, if it came back here, it might make sense, right? If it just started dumping from 56,000, because I expect a 30 to 35% pullback, and that would put us in the $37,000 range for Bitcoin, which would bring it down to about where Elon Musk bought, or at least announced that Tesla was buying $1.5 billion worth. What would make more sense, right, is we have a healthy support at 48,000 on Bitcoin, right around that 48,000 range. So if we took a 30% pullback, what would bring us down to that 48,000 range, or maybe a little more, 30 to 35% pullback? I'm thinking we might see 70,000 before that 30% to 35% drop. And it could be a 50% drop, but what would make sense is if it went to $70,000, took a 30% pullback down to 49,000, and then slightly more to 48,000. Maybe they drop it a little below to take out some stop losses, just because everybody's expecting 48,000 gets taken down just below, maybe 46 or 47,000. And this is just all hypothetical. This is just a thought process of what I'm thinking makes sense and what I'm kind of expecting to happen. And I think it could happen as soon as the end of the weekend. And I'm not saying that's going to. It's unlikely, but it could. And if it does, what would make sense is to watch the CME futures of both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's take a look at that. Let's look at the futures, right? And what we'll be looking for. So if we go to full future chart, it should have just stayed on that one. I'll look up Ethereum on that one. So, okay. So we're looking at the Bitcoin futures chart. They close at 6:45 Eastern Standard Time, which puts it at 4:45 p.m. my time, which is in just a hair less than 2 hours. So I'll be watching for where this closes at in 2 hours. And then I'll be watching where it's at on Sunday in the afternoon, right? Before they open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, so 4 p.m. my time. So maybe I'm watching around 10 a.m. to about noon. And I'll be watching for any gaps, right? So if we take a crazy, if we gap up, and we're looking like we're going to gap up on Monday, I'm probably looking to take some profits because I'm thinking that gap's going to close, at least eventually. Same with Ethereum. Let's see if we can get into Ethereum here. Ethereum futures, right? This is a brand new, only on a second week. Hence 2 weekly candles. But yeah, I'll be watching the same thing with Ethereum. And a lot of people are just, calling for these crazy numbers, 2,500, 5,000, soon. Well, it hasn't happened. And for the most part, Ethereum, though it's been good. I can't say it hasn't been great. It's been disappointing, though. People have been really disappointed with it because Bitcoin's previous all-time high was 20,000. It broke an all-time high and it went to 50. Well, it's down to 55,600 now. But, Ethereum broke the all-time high and retraced. And then it broke the all-time high and retraced. And it just kind of like barely broke the all-time high. So here we are, sitting just below $2,000 at 1956, and people are disappointed with it. Well, that's just kind of the way it goes. I mean, it came from $600 back in December. Yeah, back around Christmas time, it was only in the $600 range, and even back in November, it's only 400. So it's up almost 500%, and it's disappointing, right? So it could be the weekend. It could be what gives it its final boost. Last of the big three, Litecoin, performing insanely well, incredibly well. I mean, we're looking to test all-time highs here of $369.21. Is that right? $369. So it's looking like the next level of resistance is right at this 262 area. Yeah, it's looking strong here. It's been awesome lately. And what tends to happen is Bitcoin will make its run. People will sell their Bitcoin for profit, trickle it down into Ethereum and Litecoin, take their profit. After that runs up, and then you start getting into the altcoins, and altcoins have been running already. So let's just go ahead and get right into those. Right? Polkastarter, one of those few that are actually down today, but it's been on an insane run. It went from like 40 cents to $7 pretty quickly. It was at 10 cents at one point, 20 cents at one point. And I made sells at $5 and $7. And it went as high as like $7.09 or something like that. And so I have more than my initial investment out of there, and I bought at $1.01. But let's look at some of the ones that have been performing well. And the ones that have been performing the best are all the ones on the Binance Smart Chain. And why have people been moving to the Binance Smart Chain? Because the Ethereum gas fees on Uniswap are too high. So it just kind of shows that people don't really care about centralized and decentralized. They want to go where they can make money and where they're not paying fees. So you could see Berry data on the Binance Smart Chain up 77.3%. PancakeSwap, which I think there's been more volume today for the first time ever on PancakeSwap than there was on Uniswap. More dollar volume done on PancakeSwap than Uniswap today. So they're up 39%. They've gone on a pretty insane run. I mean, look at that. That's 30 days. 30 days. It's gone from under 70 cents to $18 today. Insane. Another one in the Binance Smart Chain. Binance Coin, right? Now, Binance Coin, the more projects and the more volume that gets moved through the Binance exchange, so the more projects that move to the Binance Smart Chain, right, are going to cause Binance to be used more. It's going to cause Binance Coin to be used more, and it's going to increase the value of it. This went, a few years ago, my business partner was talking to me at $4, $5, and he was pissed because in the bull run it ran up to, I want to say it was like $24. Maybe it was only 18. Maybe it was a little more than 24. I'm not sure, but he was so pissed because he knew. He put two and two together. Like, Binance is growing. Everybody's using Binance. Binance Coin is used for fees and stuff like that. And the more and more it gets used, the higher and higher this price on this is going to go. And he was right. And it just went to a much greater extent. $323. 30 days ago, you're looking at $40. Crazy. And now there's actually one that I've talked about multiple times. Hopefully you're in it. I'm in it. And it's just been going nuts. AnySwap. $3, up 148.5% on the day. If you remember when I talked about it before, it took this huge spike. And I don't know why it did that. I still haven't really looked into that. I don't care. I just know there was some kind of interest here. I got in on the upswing around 80, 82 cents, somewhere like that. Went up to 160. I didn't sell anything. Right, because it's still at a relatively low market cap. Still does. 51 million. 51 million. If anybody starts to use this, it's going to go nuts. I mean, it already is. I didn't see any news on it today, but look at that volume increase today. Oh, man. Absolutely insane. It's just kind of holding this $1 range, came back down to $1. So if it doesn't hold $1, it's probably going to come down. It held. I didn't expect it to go up like this, but it did. So those cryptocurrencies on the Binance Smart Chain are just going nuts right now, and that'll end too. But yeah, some other ones that aren't performing well I talked about. Butterfly, not too great. I was seeing it hold that 80 cent range, making me think that people who planned on selling have already sold. So everybody was holding, and that's why it was holding 80 cents, and it came down to 60. I don't have a lot in here. It's such a small coin, and it's risky. The market cap's super low, but I still hold some because I've seen them come down like this, and then I've seen them go up 500% right after I sell, and we're in a bull market. So another one is Umbrella, just kind of slowly been fading, hasn't been doing too well. Butterfly, by the way, is the worst performing cryptocurrency off of Polkastarter, worst one. So I expect it to turn around. I don't know when, but I do expect it to turn around. I mean, it looks like we're kind of holding this 150 area with Umbrella Network. So, we'll see if it does the same thing as Butterfly and breaks down through there. I hope not. But again, I don't have a whole lot in here, but it's just one of those ones I'm taking a shot on. And let's see. A couple other ones before we end the video. Just want to give a quick recap then and just remind you of what I'm looking at going into the weekend. So there's one in particular, and I was looking at YFDI, and this is one that I talk about pretty much every time, and we just have increasing volume with increasing price, low supply, DeFi project, and one thing I noticed, I'm like, wow, I don't think I noticed this on Bill Axie before. And look at the volume it's done, 3.8 million compared to 1.5 million on Uniswap. And I was like, wow, there's some serious volume on there. So I was thinking about Binance Coin and how that's worked out, and Uniswap token, based off the Uniswap exchange. And I'm like, what does Bilaxy have a coin? So they do. I looked that up and I bought some of it, and it's up. I'm not up 111%. I bought this morning, but I am willing to take a shot on it because I'm seeing more and more coins, right, pop up on the Bilaxy. Bilaxy exchange is the only place you can buy the coin right now. And so I'm just thinking, well, this is a growing exchange, and I'm willing to throw a tiny bit into it. So let's see how that goes. That's one of the new ones that I'm in. And then I was looking through. I've had a few that people have been messaging me about, and the one that interested me a little bit was Order of the Black Rose, OBR, first role-play NFT project on both blockchains, Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum with Marketplace. So it's on the Binance Smart Chain. It's relatively unknown. Let's take a look at it. Here's what I like about it. 1,257 circulating supply. This thing can go nuts, and it's in the NFT space and on the Binance Smart Chain. That's all I needed to know. Again, I'm not throwing my whole life savings at it. I'm throwing a little bit at it, but this is one of those ones that can go 10 times in a day or 10 times in a week. And it had a spike here, and it's come down, so it looks like it's starting to come up again, reached over support or over resistance, of a previous peak, and looks like it's starting to increase on volume today. And the thing that's kind of cool about it, right? And I'm going to look more into this. I haven't done like a deep dive into it. Not that I do a deep dive because I'm mostly a technical trader anyways. But here's what's really cool about it is, so you can stake, right? And it looks like you earn up to 0.4% a day, which is actually pretty good. I was looking at 0.4%. 0.4% a day is like 144% a year. So you stake by just holding it in your MetaMask wallet, I believe. I'm going to look more into that, so don't quote me on it. And you receive, I'm pretty sure everybody receives an NFT every week that holds it in their MetaMask wallet. And it could be a drawing, or it could be a lottery or something like that. I haven't watched this. It brings you to this video. I haven't really watched it yet. Probably give you all the information there, but pretty cool. I've always been a big role-playing guy. I was always into the Final Fantasies and Dragon Warriors, and I was into World of Warcraft, and yeah, so kind of interesting. People, I wouldn't say people show me coins all the time, but I get a few messages, here and there. People telling me to look into something or what I think about something, and this one is kind of cool, especially because the low circulating supply. If that catches wind, that could really go. I mean, that's one of the main things I'm looking at. 1,257. I mean, what was? I don't think I've seen one that low. But just to give you an example, YFDAI. I mean, I don't think they're anywhere near YFDAI. But YFDAI is at 5,900, and they have 4,000 circulating supply. So they can, if it was on the same, level of progression that YFDAI has been on, they could be at like 10,000 per coin. Don't think that's what I'm saying it's gonna do. I'm just saying this is what I like about it. So I threw a little bit into it. Why not? Take a small chance, and. Yeah, what other? So I ran into, Bilaxy coin, Bilaxy token, OBR, Order of the Black Rose, kind of cool name. I don't know. But yeah, there's been some things I've been into that haven't been performing too well. I'm not going to go over them too extensively, but Spice is down 12.39%. And this is kind of like an index of the altcoins. So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, Sci-Fi Sci-Finance. Sci-Finance. It's like an index of the altcoins. And they have really great tokenomics. You should check out their website. Another one, Decenter. I bought that after a pretty large, pretty significant pump up. But it's been holding this 38 range, and I bought it at 40 cents. Archer Dow looks to be perking up. It's kind of an aggregator, kind of similar to Keeper Dow, ROOK, Rook. Let's see, Seed Me's been doing okay. Bird Money has been, kind of still ranging this $1 to, or I'm sorry, $100 to $140 range. Polkastarter, we mentioned, is down, and Polkadot is up. That's still doing good. So a lot of Pluton is down 11%. So it's fortunate that the ones I don't have a lot of money in aren't doing that well. But those are my potential 10 baggers that I'm just willing to hold to see if they progress with anything that they're planning, or if anybody has any type of adoption for them. But yeah, so Bitcoin, we're heading into the weekend. Looks like we've come back to 56,000, did we? 55,600, 55,500. So, we're pretty large gain today. And, I'm watching that Bitcoin dominance chart. If we get up to that 67 area, I'm loading up on alts. I have a good amount in now still. That RSI on the altcoin market cap is getting pretty high. And that's not saying that all of them need to drop either, if there is a correction. And then I'm watching that CME futures gap, if there is any, for Bitcoin and Ethereum over the weekend. It may be a boring weekend. Who knows? That'll be great because I got bags under my eyes from not sleeping, but I'll sleep when the bull run's over. So that's what I'm watching. It's probably going to be pretty volatile. I think it's going to be pretty volatile. The further it goes up, the more volatile it's going to be. I mean, you see, the faster it goes up, the more, the harder it's going to drop. So, sitting at 55,500. Let's see where we're at come Monday. Yeah, I'll be watching that gap and trade safe, trade smart, because we have seen a huge run up, and huge run ups create huge drawdowns. Other than that, have a great weekend and have a great day.